Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sam Callahan at Callahan Training Group. I'm here to bring you the 2025 Callahan Training Group Standards. So I wanted to create a patch. I wanted to create a standard for people to train towards, to have a goal to train towards, and here we go. So 2025, if you could pass each one of my 3 strings back to back to back, no lucky runs, you could earn a patch. So why did I want to create this? Well, first and foremost, it promotes a high level of skill. It promotes a lot of things. It's not just a scoop, draw, run your gun as fast as you can. We're going to be doing hit factor scoring. We're going to be doing a lot of manipulations. We're going to be doing a lot of transitions. We're going to be doing some throttle control. Basically everything involved in a match other than the movement portion, because I wanted this drill to be accessible to everybody. And while I have double eagle and all this stuff, not everybody has the ability to train. I wanted you to be able to do it if you have a range to mess around with, all the way down to if you're stuck in a single lane inside. So welcome to my CTG Lab. This lab is just a 7-yard drill. That's all it is. 7-yard standard, 7-yard start stick down to my 2 targets. My 2 targets are spaced just about a foot apart. The reason I have this is, first of all, well, if you're inside, you could take 2 scaled targets. You could put them on a target carrier at about 3.5 yards and it would simulate this. Boom, now you can run the standard inside. You can run it from a low ready. If you can't draw from a holster, that's fine. If you can't do all the manipulations in here, that's okay. But at least you have a framework to do the standards I'm looking for shooting for everyone, basically. I don't care if you're a USPSA shooter. I don't care if you're a competitive shooter. I'm looking for these certain performance standards out of anybody who wants to call themselves a professional with a gun or somebody who's at least competitive with a firearm, right? So what we have here is just a 7-yard standard, 2 targets. Now, this is easy to set up, easy to run. I know there's some awesome standards out there that involve some movement, that involve some other things. I just wanted to make this easy for everybody. The other big thing is this is the CTG Lab. This is how I train myself a lot of times, meaning, hey, I'm the variable. I wanted something to return back to that's the same every single time. So I have these 2 targets to basically monitor my success, my progress, and my consistency. I always return back to this. Now, another little secret is when I run my group classes, I normally have 12 targets long. Everybody gets a 2 stack of targets. So when I run my CTG standards, this is what it would look like to the left and to the right infinity for 6 people at a time. So I can run this the same time for a bunch of people. You know, hey, this is USPSA. This is a game of efficiency. Let's be efficient, right? So let's talk about the standards here. Let's talk about the strings. This is going to be shot in 3 individual strings. You have to complete each string to the standard to complete the patch. This is all hit factor scoring. So at the end of this, I'll put up a little graphic at the end here, or I'll freeze frame it so that you can see the string, the hit factor standard, and the actual course of fire. So you could stop, you could read it, you could screenshot it, or do whatever you need to do. But I'll talk about the string. String 1 here is going to be one of my favorite drills. I've been shooting for a very long time. I call it the X drill. Your gun condition is just going to be loaded, holstered, wrist below belt, standing facing downrange. Very simple. We're going to use the USPSA thought process there. We're just going to use the USPSA start position. So upon the beep, you're going to draw. You're going to shoot 2 to the lower A zone of target 1. You're going to shoot 2 to the upper A zone of target 2. You're going to come back and shoot 2 to the A zone of target 1 again, and then down to the lower zone of target 2. So it's going to be 2 to the body, 2 to the opposite head, 2 to the opposite head, 2 to the opposite body. Total of 8 shots. 8 shots, 5 points per alpha scored, divided by the time it takes you, is going to be your hit factor. So I want you guys to start thinking, we're going to aim for some pretty high hit factors on this. This is going to be some pretty high standard, right? So that's string 1. String 1 is going to be 2, 2, 2, 2, loaded and holstered, wrist below belt. String 2. String 2, all from the 7-yard line, all from that same start stick, is now going to be facing uprange, loaded and holstered as well, but it's going to be facing uprange with your wrists above shoulders, because not all the start conditions in any match, actually any match I've ever shot, let alone any conditions in real life, don't wait around like this for your first shot typically. So we're going to test that on string 1. String 2, uprange upon the beep. We're going to turn, draw. We're going to shoot 1 on target 1, 2 on target 2, 3 back on target 1, 2 on target 2, and 1 on target 1. Sounds confusing, I know, but I call it a turn and draw ladder, because what we're going to do is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Every time you hear a number change, you do a transition. Why do I do this? It's 9 shots. Instead of just going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just letting people hose, I want you to use your brain a little bit. I want there to be the right shots in the right place. I want this to be scored kind of like a Virginia count run too. Hey, Virginia count, no extra shots, no extra hits. All the shots need to be where they are prescribed. If they're not, you're going to be penalized for each one of those shots. So, hey, not only do you have to shoot this quickly, you have to shoot it correctly. Well, string 1, X drill. String 2 is going to be my turn and draw ladder. String 3 is where I'm going to expect a lot of people to get caught up if you're not up to date on your dry fire, if you're not up to date on your manipulation. String 3 is going to involve a lot of gunmanship. You're going to be unloaded. Everything's going to come from your belt. If you're shooting a single double action gun, that's hammer down, slide forward. If you're shooting a Glock, that's just slide forward, trigger pulled, right? Everything is going to come from your belt. Upon the beep, you're going to load the gun. You're going to shoot 2 on target 1, 2 on target 2. You're going to do a mandatory reload. You're going to take 2 shots on one target strong hand only and 2 shots on the other target weak hand only. This could be shot in any order, lefty, righty. I don't really care, so long as you shoot it within the framework. You could start on either target for string 1, so long as you do the same order that I prescribed, right? So these 3 strings are going to be pretty indicative of all the stand and shoot standards you're going to need to stand still and just deliver alphas. The only thing it doesn't involve, as I mentioned, is movement. Why? I want it to be accessible to everybody, and I want this to just be a shooting standard. If we want to work on movement, we can work on that totally separately. This is just so that everyone can come play. Everybody can measure themselves to a standard of shooting and have something to aim for. So let's check it out. What we're going to do now is we're going to run the standards. I'm going to shoot this. I'm going to demonstrate the 3 standards. We're going to show you times, and we're going to tape between strings, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable. So here we go. All right, what's up, everybody? We're in the CTG Lab here. As I described, we're going to shoot the CTG Standards string by string. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot each string. I'm going to show you the timer. I'm going to show you a little bit of a hack on how to do the hit factor scoring so you know where you are along here. And we're going to keep it rolling. All right, so here we go. First drill is the X drill, 2 to the body, opposite head 2, opposite head 2, opposite body 2. All right, do a little bit of dry fire as always. All right, let's check it out. We got 3:23 on the timer. Let's head downrange. So, a little factor scoring hack. We know we have 8 total shots. Each shot is worth 5 points. If you shoot alpha, so we'll get 40 maximum points here. So if we shoot all alphas, that's 40 points. So let's look at it. Still have all alphas, we still have all 40 points. Still have all alphas, still have all 40 points. All alphas for all 40 points. Look at this, we have 2 Charlies. What does that mean? Down 2, total down 4. That's 36 total points that we scored divided by 3.23 equals 11.14 hit factor. So we're good to go on string 1 here. 11 hit factor gives us a pass on string 1. So we're going to head back. We're going to shoot string 2. Let's head back. All right, so we're on to string 2 now. Past string 1 means we're allowed to start string 2. String 2 is what I call my turn and draw ladder. So this is going to be starting at that same start stick, but my heels are going to be on it. We're going to be directly facing up range, wrist above shoulder. What it's going to be is on the beep, turn, draw, 1 shot, transition 2 shots, transition back for 3, transition for 2 again, transition 1 last shot for 1. 9 total rounds. As always, let's dry fire it. All right, let's see what we did on the clock. 3:17 on the clock. Let's head down range. Now, remember my little hit factor scoring hack? Last one was 8 shots. This is 9 shots. So what do we have on the time? Got 3:17. What can we have on the points? 45 points. Let's see. All right, 45 points. I have all my alphas on this left target here. It means I keep all 45 so far. Let's head over to here. 45 stays, 45 stays, 45 stays. Well, look at that. 1 Charlie brings me down to 43 points. 3 points divided by 3:17. If we do our quick math right here, 43 divided by 3.17 equals 13.56 hit factor. Well, that's a comfortable pass on string 2 because string 2 has to be a 12 hit factor or above. So string 1 is passed, 11 hit factor, string 2 passed with a 12 hit factor or above. Hey, I'll take a 13. We're going to move it on to string 3. So here we are in string 3. String 3 is going to start with an unloaded start. So here we are, unloaded start, hammer down, holstered. This is going to be on the beep. We're going to load. We're going to shoot 2 on each target, freestyle, mandatory reload. We're going to shoot 2 on 1 target, strong hand only, 2 on the remaining target, weak hand only. Total of 8 rounds. So let's get it done. Stand by. All right, so let's go downrange and check that one out. We got 6:22 on the clock. I like that. That's not a terrible time for this. Not the greatest, not the worst, but this is hit factor scoring. We go down range, my trusty tape gun here, and let's check out what we got. So we have alpha, 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 1 Charlie. You heard the hit factor hack. That just means -2 off my potential 40. So we're at a 38 total points. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 total alphas over here gives me 38 total points. 38 total points. Take that for a ride of 6.22 seconds, gives us a 6.1 hit factor for a pass on string 3. So there you go. All you need for a pass on string 3 or 6 hit factor or above. Really, you'll start to see that consistency is the hardest part of these standards. Each one of these strings, pretty doable, but it's going to be difficult to step up and do each one. 1, 2, 3. So if you like a patch, if you want a CTG patch, you have to do this in front of me. Pretty simple. Private training, one of my matches, you want to pull me aside, you want to run this afterwards, let's send it. One of my classes, let's go. The other way, again, I'll always drop the hammer. You come to one of my matches and you beat me, you got a patch. But there's the CTG standards. I hope to see a lot of tries at this. I like to see a lot of people rep it out. Ask me any questions if you got them. And really, more than anything, I hope I give out a bunch of patches in 2025. I got 49 numbered, and once the 49th is gone, no more. So that means new standards will come out. So thank you guys for sticking with me, and go ahead, don't forget to Dryfire.